Well, guess what? It's Friday night, and if it's Friday night, it's time for comics and coffee. As you can see, I've got my Marvel mug tonight. Nightmare on Christmas mug, taking the night off. Alright, so I've got kind of a interesting unboxing for you guys tonight. 4, 5, 6 months ago, Chris Claremont did a signing with CGC, and I had been holding off sending in some early X-Men, Bronze Era X-Men, until he had come back, because he comes in about once a year to do a signing with CGC. So I waited, and when the newsletter went out and said, hey, they announced it, I picked 3 books out of my collection. Now, all of these books had been previously graded at a 9.2. And although I have multiple copies of all of these, and some of my copies were higher graded, I was always kind of leery about sending in a Bronze Era 9.6 for a signing event, just because there's always the opportunity. Sometimes it's unfortunate, but a 9.6 Bronze Era book you send in, it's a risk, because it could come back at a lower grade, and that price drop is huge for a Bronze Era X-Men. So I decided I'm going to send in some 9.2s, get them cleaned and pressed through CCS, and see how they do. So I sent in X-Men 96, 97, and 98. And I never really did an unboxing video with these when they came back, so I decided, since I'm still waiting on some shipments to arrive, and I've got some other content that I'm working on that isn't finished, I'd throw together a quick video and show off some of these books. So, again, these were all previously submitted to CGC. They were graded at 9.2, and I just left them in their cases to protect them, to mail them off. So, here we go. So the first book we're going to look at is X-Men 96. And you notice with that yellow label, the custom label, it looks fantastic. You get the standard Chris Claremont signature, which is always across the X-Men title. Alright, beautiful book. Really, really love this book. This is off-white to white pages. Alright, this is previously graded at a 9.2. And it came back at a 9.4. Alright, super happy with that. A 9.4 X-Men 96 first appearance of Moira McTaggart, signed by Chris Claremont. That is awesome. Alright, so I set that one aside. Next one we've got is X-Men number 97. Alright, classic X-Men cover. Cyclops and Havoc in the foreground, with Storm and Colossus in the background. Really love this book. And again, this is another off-white to white pages. This was published in February of 1976. Alright, so we're going to take a look. You guys ready? And this came back a 9.6. So it got a nice grade bump. The 96 went from a 9.2 to a 9.4. The 97 went from a 9.2 to a 9.6. So really, really happy with this book. Alright, it's a beautiful cover. And the pressing did a fantastic job. CCS typically does a pretty good job. I haven't had a bad experience with them as of yet, other than their turnaround time. But I can kind of see right on the tip of that corner, I can see where there's a small color flake. So that might be what held it back from a 9.8, or the fact that it only had off-white to white pages. Alright, last book, X-Men 98. Beautiful cover. Classic cover too, X-Men versus the Sentinels. I think that originally it was supposed to be the Empire State Building, because I know this story takes place in New York, but it didn't work out that way. The first time I saw a copy of this book, I think it was in like 4th grade at a yard sale. Anyway, this is from April of 1976. So I would have been 7 years old. Alright, so originally graded at a 9.2, pressed and cleaned by CCS. And it came back at a 9.6. Alright, satisfied. Honestly, I would have been satisfied if all three of these were just 9.4s. Again, custom label. I think if you're going to send anything, these X-Men books in right now with this particular label I really like, you're going to get them signed. Get the custom label anyway. It looks really good. Again, off-white to white pages. And a little, because it has the top of this book is a black cover, it has a small color flake in the upper left-hand corner where the spine is. And I think that probably is what kept it from being a 9.8. But it's such a beautiful copy of this book. Right? I mean, you can see just how clean of a copy this is. It's absolutely gorgeous. So, all of these are from my personal collection. So, those are the three that I decided to send in. And again, I'm kind of cautious about sending in like 9.6s to be cleaned and pressed and graded, because I've sent them in before and they've come back the same grade, but I've seen enough videos on YouTube where the possibility exists that you're going to get them back and they might actually drop a grade. So unless it's a Stan Lee signature, maybe Roy Thomas, maybe a few other, the older generation of contributors, artists and writers and things, maybe Frank Miller, there's always a risk that it's going to drop in value even with that type of a premier signature. So yeah, this is going to be kind of a short video, but I wanted to share these books with the community. And again, I personally am trying to get a 9.4 to a 9.6 run from Giant Size X-Men 1 all the way to 143, and I'm only missing about 6 books at a 9.4 or higher. Obviously, there's the big boys, Giant Size number 1, X-Men 94, X-Men 101, X-Men 107, X-Men 120 at a 9.6 is pretty expensive. 121 I recently checked off my list at a 9.6. I got a 129 at a 9.6 a couple of years ago, so that was a really tough book to get. I actually bought that off of eBay and got a pretty good deal on it. X-Men 95 I picked up at a 9.6. That was probably, of all the books I've bought in the last 5 years, that was probably the most that I put out for a book. It was a sizable amount of money, but not unattainable at the time. Now it's pretty expensive. Anyway, it's Friday night. This is Mark. Thanks for hanging out. Coffee and Comics. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, comments, put them in the comment section below. And again, Friday night, Comics and Comics. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the video.